fall is officially here, and we are going to use this video to get into the fall spirit because I'm struggling with it a little bit. I don't know why in New England fall is the season. We are absolutely obsessed with it, and we will use today's video to decorate my entire house. I will show you guys how my little reading corner will look in the living room. We will also do some baking because fall and winter, those are my primary baking seasons. And of course, we will also do some reading because you guys, I already started the newest Sangu Mandana release, A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, and I am super early into this book, but so far I really like it. This is so good. But I have to stop eating it for now because I really want to tell you guys about this book. Again, super early in, I think I finished chapter 7, and so far I really like this book. And I was a little bit scared to pick this up because although I really love Sangu Mandana's other book, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, I absolutely adore that book because of the found family vibes. Cozy fantasy, unfortunately, it doesn't work for me. I tried so many cozy fantasy books and usually I just end up DNFing them, or when I finish them, like for example Chess of the Emerald Sea, I don't really have the greatest opinion about them. It doesn't work for me, but this is the definition of fall cozy fantasy, but so far it is going great. This book is about a witch, Sarah. She was abandoned by her parents at a very young age, and her auntie, Jasmine, took her in, and they are running this magical inn. And then suddenly Auntie Jasmine, unfortunately, dies, and Sarah decides to use her magic because she is an incredibly powerful witch to basically revive her, to bring her back from the dead with the help of this character, the fox, who will be possibly my absolutely favorite character in this book, though the book is full of characters, and as it is usually with me, I love the side characters just a little bit more than the main characters. Anyways, but this was a very powerful spell that she had to do, and unfortunately she lost basically all of her magic in the process. She still has a little bit left, but she mostly lost her magic, and she is working very hard to try to get her magic back, but it's not easy because there are some people out there who don't necessarily want her to get her magic back, and we are just following Sarah and the different side characters who are living with Sarah in this magical inn, and so far, I absolutely adore it. And I hope it stays this way. So we will keep reading this book in this vlog, and hopefully I will finish it by the end of this vlog. Oh, get me back my oatmeal. What we will do next is probably some decorating, again, just to try to push myself into the fall spirit. And you guys, I watched some of my fall content from the very first year because again, I'm just trying to push myself into the fall spirit, and I watched my decorating video and I still stand by my video. I adore that video. That is one of my favorite videos that I've ever filmed in my life. I don't think that I will be able to achieve the same quality in today's video, but I will definitely try. So next up, once I finished my, what is this? Afternoon snack, dinner, whatever this is, we will get to work and get to decorating. Now you guys already know that when it comes to decorating my little reading nook or the living room or the entire house, really, I'm not somebody who goes over the top for two reasons. One, I am not really good at decorating, and I also don't enjoy a lot of like different objects and dust collectors and tchotchkes around the house. It's not really my style. I like to be very minimalistic and very tasteful when it comes to how I decorate my space. And you guys know that most of my decorations mean so much to me, because most of my decorations, like 90% of my decorations, are all made by my mom, because she is so incredibly good at crocheting. And all these pumpkins, well, let me take out the jack-o'-lantern because I don't think we will use this today. I will probably put that out in October. But all of these crochet pumpkins, these were all made by my mom, and she made them into these tiny little pumpkins so I can use them on the books and on the bookshelves. So we will mostly use these in today's video. Let's get to work.
I believe in love, I believe in honesty. Does that sound like something you'd be into? I believe the truth can be reality. Will you roll with that? 'Cause I want you to. I'm stuck in trying to find a way to make it easier to say that there's just one thing on my mind, and I think it's time for you to realize I want you all to myself. Don't wanna share you with nobody else.
I am out and about, you guys, enjoying the first perfect fall day this year, because it's so gloomy and rainy and crisp, and I want to get myself a really nice cup of coffee and then just enjoy the day and my little walkie. And I thought that this is the perfect opportunity to just pop in and update you about the book, because I'm about 50% in and I feel like I don't know how I feel like about it. I'm very bored. You guys, slight technical error, because turns out that my phone memory card is full, or the storage in my phone or whatever is full, so I cannot film with it anymore. Anyways, what I really wanted to say in that clip was I'm a little bit bored. I'm kind of like 50%, not kind of like, I am 50% into this book, and I am bored. I am bored, and I'm a little bit scared, because usually this is when I feel like this, that's when I DNF my cozy fantasies. I just really don't want to, because it is Sengu Mandana. So I think I will keep trying. But I really want to know your opinion about cozy fantasy as a genre, you guys, because I am trying to figure it out why this genre doesn't work for me, because I don't understand. In theory, this genre should work for me, because this genre is all about basically just comfort and warmth, and in this incredibly hectic world that we are all living in, it makes perfectly sense to crave a genre like this. And it's always about friends and community, and found family is in the center of many of these books, and that's something that I love. And all of these stories are supposed to be character driven, right? They all focus on the characters and their healing or their personal journeys. So again, in theory, I should adore this genre, because I adore these things, but I just find them boring. I find these books so incredibly boring, and now I'm getting to the point just that like thinking about all these like cozy fantasies that I DNF, that I find them sometimes, not all the times, sometimes very superficial, because I feel like that sometimes this comfort aesthetic, it becomes more important in the book than genuine storytelling and genuine depth. How many pastries can we read about? And how many cup of coffees can you read about before you say, oh, like, come on, like, okay, the covers look amazing and I like these things. I like pastries and coffee and tea or whatever, but there's a limit to how much of these things I can consume without, or before I should say, before I crave something that is more meaningful and just deeper in general. So if you are somebody who absolutely adores this genre, please let me know why, because I want to love cozy fantasy. I really do. And also, if you are somebody who doesn't like cozy fantasy, again, tell me why. Do you find it also boring and a little bit superficial? You guys, let me know what you think, because I feel like that I'm getting to the point where I'm just gonna give up. I will finish this Sangu Mandana book because I cannot accept this book as a DNF. That's just not going to happen. And with now feeling really boring, I still think that this book is worth it, I feel like. Or at least I'm trying to convince myself about this book. Okay? So we will finish the book, and then I am hoping that the second part of the book will be better, because the last 50 pages, I'm not gonna lie, I've been struggling. But anyways, you guys let me know about your thoughts when it comes to cozy fantasy.
You're just standing on the cusp of what's okay and not morally gray, textbook insane. Now I'd like to draw this line you've crossed so many times. At this point I'm out of my mind. What's the point in loving someone morally confusing? It's not likely. You're so unlike me. Oh, I can't shake this feeling, 'cause I think I'm falling for the villain, and it's not looking like a good decision.
Rant incoming, you guys. I am warning you now, okay? Because I finished the book. Okay, I didn't hate it. I didn't like it either. Not at all. But I didn't hate it. And I finished it. And that's actually a big plus, because me personally, to finish a book, I have to like it at least a little bit. Like now, I am really good at DNFing books. It wasn't always like this. Like a couple of years ago, I couldn't DNF a book. When I started a book, I had to finish a book. And then I realized that like the most precious thing that we have is time. And if I don't like something, I don't want to invest time into it. I just cannot get that time back. The only thing we cannot buy is time. So I learned how to DNF books. Oh my god, like weirdly, somehow, this review got so deep. Anyways, I don't understand, you guys, why this book had to be delayed so many times. It must have been because of some kind of publishing reason or business reason or whatever, because it was definitely not about the quality of the book, not about the quality of the writing or the storytelling, whatever. Oh, by the way, I'm sitting on the floor I'm sitting on the floor because of this. Can you guys see it? Yeah, this is my TBR, and I just filmed a video about my entire physical TBR, and I feel like that's gonna be the video that I am uploading next. And the situation is absolutely out of control. I really need to get reading somehow under control, because it just hasn't really been going well. And maybe this book also is basically just my victim, or the victim of my reading slump. Or maybe finally it is time for me to understand what many of you actually have been telling me in the comment section, that cozy fantasy is just not really your genre. And I do think that when you listen to my review, that is obviously one thing that you need to keep in mind. Though, even though I understand that this is not my genre, I try to stay very very objective with what I say, because though I don't really have a connection to this book or to this genre, still I feel like that the criticism that I am going to talk about is actually valid regardless of the genre. Overall, when it comes to this book, I feel like that I was incredibly bored, and the three major issues that I had with this book were: one, I could not feel any connection to this book whatsoever. Two, the characters. And I never thought that I would say anything like this, because you guys know that I am here for primary characters, secondary characters, bazillion of characters. The more characters in the book, the better for Zsuzsi. However, in this book, I could not stand what the author did with the characters, or to the characters, and I'm going to talk about it in detail. And three, and this is probably because I was so incredibly bored and I couldn't wait for this book to finish, I also got to the point where the book started irritating me, and I started picking up certain issues that I really want to talk about, because I am genuinely interested in your opinion and what you have to say about this book, and where you agree with me or where you disagree with me. And before I say anything, I do want to acknowledge, actually, and again, I finished this book, so I had to at least tolerate it or like it a little bit. And I do appreciate the overall message in the book about, again, the found family, which is something that's very important to me, and I really like to read about that in books, and also about second chances and finding yourself and finding out or realizing what really matters in life. So the general message was absolutely fine, but next time, make it into a short story. I don't know what to say, because I just keep repeating myself ad nauseum in this video, but the very first book of the author, that's one of my all-time favorites. So I don't know what the hell happened here. So just like I said, the biggest issue was me not having any connection with the book, not being able to warm up to this book at all. I was really hoping that maybe the second half of the book could save the story for me, but it couldn't. I could not stand the characters, primary or secondary characters. I also couldn't connect to the romance at all. I personally feel that it was done not very well. And also, I could not really connect with or to the quest itself, or to what we were trying to do in this book. And I kept finding myself very distracted reading this book. I just kept wishing it was over, and I was already thinking about the other books that I wanted to buy or wanted to start reading, or all the different stories that I want to read in the next couple of months. And again, I decided to finish the book because it's Sangu Mandana, and I did have just a little bit of curiosity because I was really curious about the ending, which was actually positive. I like the ending of this book, but when I finish a book because of curiosity and not because of connection or genuine care, that's just ultimately never really gonna be a top-notch reading experience for me. And I feel like that my main issue in this book was definitely the character work, or the characters, I should say, in general. And this is what I really want to know your opinion, not necessarily about this book, but like in general, what it is that you think, because I am kind of seeing a pattern and I'm picking up a trend, and I just don't really know how I feel about it. And I feel like that this book is basically a prime example. But I feel like that we were trying to create so many unique and original characters in this book. And you know, when you think of the fox Clemmy, who was basically just a semi-evil witch in the book, or the skeleton rooster Roro. And I have to say that actually these two characters were my favorite characters, so I don't even understand why I am using these as an example. I'm just talking about, like, you know, creating unique and original characters. And we had so many characters in this book, like easily at least 7, even more, like more than 7, but I feel like that we just got to talk about or got to know a little bit more about specifically 7 to 8 characters. And I feel that's a lot for a book that is about 300 pages, a little bit longer than 300 pages is a lot. And I feel like that these days we want to be so inclusive, and rightfully so. I am not saying that I don't understand the importance of inclusion, okay? I just want to make that very clear. But we want to be so inclusive these days that we just keep putting characters into books, whether they belong there or not. And as an author, you got to be very careful with that, because when you do that and you don't have the space to give the characters arc, then they will just end up being surface level and underdeveloped characters, and nobody is really going to enjoy them. And they will be in the book, or they will be in the story just for the sake of it. But we don't really get to know these characters. We don't really get to know anything about them or truly understand who they are. And me being a character-driven reader, that is a bit of an issue to me. And just like I said, I feel it's great to be inclusive in literature. It's not enough that it's great. It's actually absolutely necessary, so I get that. But when you just bump characters in the story, like, poof, I am including an LGBTQ plus character because I want to, or poof, I'm including a neurodivergent character because I want to. But these characters are just props in my story, and I don't really give a story to them, and I don't really tell anything about them to the reader or anything about who they are. Then what's the point including them? And just to give you a couple of examples, like for example, we have LGBTQ plus representation in the book, and specifically we have a lesbian elderly character who we didn't really talk about till like the end of the book. And then we were just like, oh yeah, by the way, she's a lesbian and I need to wrap up her story. So there you go, she's a lesbian. But in the beginning of the book, when I started talking about this character, I didn't tell you about this. It was not an important part of her story. When I actually started building up the character, I didn't say anything about it. I didn't mention it, but now I have to give her an ending. So there you go, she's a lesbian elderly lady. I'm like, it's actually pretty important for a character or for a character work. So how come that you just never really told us about it? But the other example, and I think that this is something that actually pissed me off, and it made me feel so bad for the character, and that is the character of Posey, who is an autistic little girl in the story, and she's such a gem. And I actually expected so much from her character, because her character had so much potential, and the author just decided to use this little girl in the book as a prop. She was nothing else but a prop. She served absolutely no purpose on her own. The author used this character to show us that her brother, who was also the love interest in this book, how loving and caring and just absolutely how fantastic he is. And I hate when authors do that. And I know that it's not only Sangu Mandana. Of course, I know that. I criticize other authors. Like, for example, Sarah J. Maas. I criticize her all the time. Like, you know, I'm going to diverge here a little bit, but like, what she did, for example, to Tamlin's character and Rhysand's character, like, you know, in order to rise Rhysand's character up, we completely had to destroy Tamlin's character. And I'm like, I don't like this kind of manipulation. Like, if you have to break down one character or just use one character to make another one look a certain way, I'm sorry, but in my personal humble opinion, that's just bad writing. But it was not just about that. Like, we also used Posey's character to actually show how bad the guild is and how everybody is so problematic in the guild because they don't accept anybody who has a different skin color or who is just a little bit different from them. We just don't accept them because somebody decided what normal is, and Posey didn't fit that. So the guild is just very, very bad. So again, she was just a prop, no character moment. There was this one moment in the book when I was like, okay, the author was building the character up for this moment. It's coming. I know it's coming. Posey will be very important. And we get there and I'm like, no, like we could have figured this out on our own. Like, you just used this character, didn't give her any moment, any arc. This character, this little autistic girl, she was exploited so bad in the story. And I genuinely, like, I know that she's a fictional character, but I just genuinely felt so bad for her. I was like, wow, so much potential. And the author just doesn't know what to do with you. And if this is not enough, like, the whole book just felt like a middle grade book to me. And I don't understand how this happened, because her very first book, or the first book that I read from her, again, the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, excuse me, that felt like, read like an adult book. And this was like a middle grade book with SCX. And there was such a disconnect for me there, because the whole story just reads like it was written to very young people. And then we have the SCX scene. No connection between the characters, by the way. They were so awkward together. And of course, I don't enjoy that. I like connection between my characters anyways. And then that happens. We just have SCX against the wall. And I'm like, this is not what makes a book adult, at least not in my humble opinion. Anyways, wow, I'm just like, I've been just ranting about this book, but it's simply because I'm just so disappointed. It was one of my highly anticipated releases for this year, and it didn't live up to the expectations. But again, just like I said, I actually don't dismiss that I am also part of the problem. It's me. It's also me. I'm the problem. It's also me. Okay? Anyways, but I finished it, and we had a lot of like cute and just very wholesome moments that were full of heart, and I am not dismissing it, and I am not giving up on Sangu Mandana as an author, and she definitely has potential. I just feel like that this book was a flop. I haven't read any reviews yet, because when it comes to my new releases, I just like to stay away from the internet, because I want to, make up my own mind about the books, especially like when it comes to super popular books like this one. I don't want to be influenced in any way, so I need to look up the reviews, and I need to know what other people think about this book. And please let me know what you guys think about this book, because I know that many of you adore cozy fantasy and read cozy fantasy, and I'm sorry. I just need to give up on this genre. That is the conclusion. That is the lesson learned. And by the way, the cover, it's freaking awesome. I really like it. I wish it was orange and not pink, but anyways, there's a reason why it's pink. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you think, because I'm dying to know what you think. But now it is time for me to stop yapping and to actually do something about this book stack, because I have to start organizing them and I have to find space for them, which is not gonna be easy. So I'm gonna let you guys go. hit share, like, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I have a lot of fun bookish videos coming up in the next couple of weeks, and just like I said, stay tuned for my entire physical TBR video. It's absolutely insane the amount of books that I gathered over the past couple of months. It is absolutely insane, and I am not proud of myself, okay? Oh, but anyways, enough yapping, Zsuzsi. Like, seriously. I see you guys in my next video. Bye!